All right, friends, how are you today? Happy Sunday Fun Day. Aaron Michael Escherbrick here, bringing you some honest astrology for June 6, 2019. It is Sunday. We are halfway through the month of June. We are getting closer and closer to the summer solstice. Very exciting stuff. We've got the moon in Sagittarius going to meet up with big Jupiter today at 3:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The moon and Jupiter are going to meet at 18 degrees. Now we've also got Mercury at 18 degrees in Cancer, the North Node 18 degrees of Cancer. Mars is at 20 degrees, so it's very close together, okay? So that's this quincunx that we've been talking about, this annoying aspect of intuitiveness, highlighting the higher, the higher knowledge, the higher perspective, the faith, the education, and we'll talk about that contrast a little bit more about the full moon. But really today's stuff is about, the moon and Jupiter meeting up. And let me show you what's going on here. So they're going to meet up. Here, let me actually do this. This is at noon, but we'll see here. What is this? There we go. 3:07 p.m. This is really one of the best times of the month is when we have Jupiter and the moon meeting up, because we're expanding ourselves. We're expanding our emotional awareness, our emotional intelligence, with Jupiter and the moon. And this is really good, as this is leading into, I made a mistake. The full moon is actually going to be at 3 in the morning on Monday, not tonight, not on Sunday night. So either way, you're still going to really get a lot of that full moon energy, because it's going to happen throughout the day, this opposition happening here. But because of the moon and Jupiter meeting up, that's what I want to talk about today. And look what we've got going on here. This is like this nearly perfect square. The moon will perfectly square Neptune, and this is just amazing. This is a perfect square today. And we look down here at 1844, that's Mercury. So we have this like perfect trine, 18 degrees of Neptune's expansiveness. The North Node has moved to 18 degrees, 1844. So the South Node is at 1844. Saturn is at 1840. These are only 30 degrees apart. These guys don't really see each other. There is an aspect there, but it's kind of, as we're saying, take the higher road stuff. This is like the discipline. And this is saying just be intuitive. Okay? Be intuitive and discipline your stuff. Well, like, how do I want to explain this? Because there's still, let me come back here again. There's really so much going on now. Although look at what yesterday was. This was Saturday. Oops. This was Saturday. This is a lot going on. And then as everything tightened up, this becomes much more specific. This connection here, which is again all about faith, about the higher knowledge, higher consciousness, higher philosophies, education, just the knowledge that's out there that you have to go find, which these days is literally in your pocket on your phone, and you just got to get the right keywords to search it. So it's just like this knowledge is saying, dude, this is our moment of our breakthrough. We can break through this, create new traditions or break these old traditions by understanding this knowledge, and by having faith in ourselves that we can get this knowledge, and by doing it in a more intuitive way, by feeling it, not like we were talking about yesterday, this path of least resistance. Going through water is the least resistant way to exercise. So we just have to look at that differently, opposed to like a running or lifting weights. We're not going to build the muscle the same, but it's so much a leaner thing. Anyway, you get the analogy. So, and then further, this is about discipline and structuring ourselves, okay? Now, although these guys don't see each other, again, there is an aspect that they are creating with it being 30 degrees apart. And this is like, take this higher knowledge and add discipline to yourself. So let me come here and say, one thing that I can say by working, there's a lot of things I can honestly say by working in the film industry it's such a tight ship. It's just like there is 1,440 minutes in the day. When the sun goes down, the day's dead. We have to light things. It's like we don't have this same location tomorrow. There's all kinds of, it's why it's a lot of money to make the movies, because it's like there's a lot of, this is a machine. And the only thing I've ever seen that comes close to it is how these auto plants run, the big three, and how meticulously, like Ford's putting out a car every minute. That is a meticulous machine that's running all day long. Now, the difference here in the film industry is these actors, I'm behind the scenes, I work very closely with them as the sound guy, but I'm behind the scenes. They're on camera. They have to perform. They have to, no matter what's going on in their day, what's going on in their life, what, annoying things are happening around them. And trust me, it is not, of just this fun, easy, like, oh, you work in the film, it's just like, this is a circus. This is a carnival of very talented artists, and it's just like these big heads, big personalities, and it's chaos, but it's very focused. It's a very interesting thing. Now, the point I'm getting at is no matter what's going on, is they have to, okay, it's time. Set aside my stuff that I'm dealing with, embody this, and perform. Because every single person here, all of these crew members are relying on me at this moment for me to hit my lines, not only speak my lines, but hit my mark, know the lines, get the continuity right. There's so many things. And it's just like, okay, I have to set this aside and perform. Now, what we are dealing with, so this is interesting, okay? So this is a discipline saying, put my own stuff aside. I can personally say that with me. Just doing this. This is only, 10 minutes a day, but it's been over 120 days, something like that. And it's just like, okay, I was doing videos weekly, and that's no big deal. But it's just like, oh my God, this discipline of every single day. It's just like, there's times where it's just like, yeah, I want to not, there's other things going on. But it's just like, no, I do. And it's just like, this is a discipline. And not only that, it's just like, for the days that I'm personally feeling down, okay, there's this little voice that says, be strong for somebody else. Be strong. It's like be there for someone else. So here's another great example, another great analogy. Like we are restructuring and re-standardizing. Okay, this is becoming very focused energy compared to what we've been dealing with. Okay, so this is saying like, yes, discipline. Discipline is self-love. I just posted that on my, on the same Facebook page. It's like discipline is self-love because it's saying like, yeah, I'm not going to give up on myself. So now in comparison with this, when you're talking about like, let's say you're a new business owner. Okay, now we have this, Uranus, this new tradition, new breaking, all new businesses are coming up. There's all these new ideas, and there's standards that have been put into practice, through the film world. My God, there are standards, it's very hard. Now, even though you're a regular business, if you're a coffee shop or a Hallmark store or a convenience store, there are standards. If it's a 9 to 5 business or a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. business, and you're like, I'm not being disciplined. I'm not being structured on myself enough to where it's just like, whatever, I'll get there at 9:30. Open up then. I'll be there for the people that come at 9:30 and on. Well, what happens? See, we have this world, this structured world that's been put into practice long before this particular idea that you have came along. And now there's guys like Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Work Week, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about your brick and mortar business or whatever, trying to create a business in the confine. This is just an analogy again, but with other businesses out there. So now if you're a coffee shop, or whatever it is, and this person says, well, I'm going to go buy my product from you, Mary, and, I'm going to get there at 9 because I've got a tight schedule. I got to be, this place at 10 and then pick up the kid at soccer practice and, whatever. And then all of a sudden, you're not home. Your business isn't open. Now you're unreliable in the eyes of the public. And when we're talking about Capricorn, the 10th house of public image, and transforming Pluto, transforming our own public image. Saturn home in the 10th house, restructuring our own public image. And again, this breaking of these traditions. So going back to the chart here, that's what all this stuff is here. This is our public image. And this is like, yeah, we got to feel things, but we have to be structured and disciplined, and we have to uphold these standards that have been put into practice like so long ago. And this is part of our breakthrough by being extremely disciplined and also knowing our, know your limits, know what you can't achieve. This is gonna date me, but this is how I'll kind of wrap this up today. for the Sunday is like, as well, with all of this energy, there's a band, 90s band called Alice in Chains. Now, this can go for a lot of different things. This is just my reference I'm taking. Alice in Chains, okay? They were pretty awesome, you know, band in the 90s, pretty popular. Their guitar player, Jerry Cantrell, whatever, right? Alice in Chains, very well known. Jerry Cantrell made a lot of solo albums. Very talented guitar player, singer as well. But you probably know Alice in Chains. You probably don't know Jerry Cantrell. And that's not saying Jerry Cantrell don't go make your own music that's separate from this group. But what that's saying is there's power in collaboration. There's power in numbers. There's power in other people. You need 4 strong legs to make a table. Some can do 1 leg in the middle and a really sturdy base. Okay? But this particular energy is saying, like, expand. Expand your community. Expand the people that you're working with, because you're going to create a stronger, more sturdy structure with more people. You know, Red Rover, you know, this structure becomes stronger and greater. So there's a lot going on this Sunday. You know, and coming back to this again with these, the semi-square here to Uranus, breakthrough, the Great Awakener Uranus, and all of this intuitive stuff, you know, and this Neptune expansion of your unconsciousness, and meeting up here with Jupiter and the moon, the expansion of our reality, the expansion of the laws of our reality, expansion, you know, forgiveness, expansion of compassion. And that's what this is saying here. Like, dude, don't be stingy. Don't be stingy with who you forgive. Don't be stingy with who you love. You know, like, you can meet a dog and be like, oh my God, I love you. You know, it's like, tell a person you love them. Tell somebody you care about them, you know. It's more important to reach out and just to share that. And it's like, it's not up to you to determine how they interpret something like that. But it's really important to reach out, you know, and be disciplined. Be disciplined right now. Believe in yourself and follow through with that stuff, you know. 1,440 minutes in the day. And it's not just about performing. Okay, coming back to that actor analogy. Now, what we're doing with all of this emotional, intuitive energy in Cancer, okay, what this quincunx is saying is this is not a performance. Okay, this is so important. This is so the meat right now. This is not a performance. This is authenticity. Yeah, you know, this is not a performance. This is not me. This is not me getting out of bed saying, God, I don't want to do this astrology video. You know, that's never the case. You know, and it's not a performance. It's not doing this a performance, doing this out of authenticity. And I'm going to wrap this up as well by saying, like, there's been a couple people that have reached out and said, like, hey, do you do personal chart readings? The answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. But there's a reason why I don't say at the end of every video, you know, reach out and you know, buy my product, or like, you know, sometimes, yeah, like, share, subscribe, whatever, but it's just like, I'm not trying to be here like a freaking, you know, Facebook likes and you know, buy my thing. It's just like, no, this makes me feel good to come back and do this. But if somebody else wants a reading, absolutely. Yes, that service is offered, but it's like authenticity is the point of what I'm, you know, coming there. This is like not the performance, not doing something to, you know, save face, but authentically, you know, the way to perform for public image versus authentically being it and being being notable for that through your public image. Like, okay, now I'm finally wrapping it up. This is the last thing. There's a restaurant, just a whatever restaurant that was open for dogs, and the owner of the restaurant would bring little dog treats. And he's like, I didn't do it for the people. I legitimately love animals. And because of his authentic love for that and just doing it, you know, it's not like he charged an extra premium for their meal because they had a dog and, you know, well, this biscuit cost, I'm going to put that in I'm sure it was budgeted. But you know what I'm saying? And then because of that, because of his love wanting to do something and continuously doing it, not, oh, I don't feel appreciated by this, I'm pulling it away. Oh, the flower's not growing, I'm going to cut it up. You know, I'm going to stop feeding it water. I'm going to stop giving it light and love, you know. So by continuously doing this, and all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, this really cool restaurant you bring your dog to get, you know, and then all of a sudden, wow, the food's really good, yada, yada, yada. You build that reputation and consistency. All right, so that's your Sunday, and we'll get back to you tomorrow about this full moon. It's a similar kind of energy, but we're dealing more with the contrast, as that's what the moon and, you know, this is all about. sun over in Gemini, the moon up there in Sagittarius. You know, the great contrast from all the information to the high information, climbing that ladder up. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow.